Hey yo, what's poppin', everybody? I don't know if we're live right now. I think we're live. I think I'm recording. Hold on, I just gotta check a little something on the technicals here. All right, we're live. I'm live watching myself live. This is meta, and that's where we're going today. We're going into the metaverse, man. Yeah, I want to start off with this video that one of my friends shared with me. It's called Hyper Reality, and I think it gives a very good glimpse into the future, or at least this person's perspective of the future. It's very artistic, somewhat prophetic, but I think you'll find it interesting. I actually haven't watched the whole thing, so this is going to be a live reaction of Hyper Reality, and hopefully I don't get caught again with another copyright strike. If I do, I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. But you know, everybody else, they do reactions to other people's videos. They don't get in trouble. You know, I do it once and I get a copyright strike and I get banned for a week. So I'm gonna try it again, and like I said, if they get me, I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Here we go. Hyper Reality, brought to you by Keiichi Matsuda. It's pretty cool. Hopefully the quality streaming comes out alright. So this is their representation of augmented reality, our future world. Turn up the volume a little bit. It's pretty trippy, man. I think there's a lot of truth in this. This might be a little bit exaggerated, but I think there's a lot of truth in where this is going.
¿Has pensado en correr? Es saludable y eficiente.
Seguro que no hay más trabajos disponibles. Yo estudié para ser profesora y estoy haciendo mercados.
Y además puedes quedarte con los
Yeah, this is how I see it, man.
Eres una monje afortunada. Tienes que confiar
The
en la
future,
profesión. Te sientes inspirada.
this metaverse, quote unquote, is that, you know, our phone, our display of our phone, our heads-up display is literally just going to be built into our world, almost as like this holographic reality that is being represented here. Might be a little bit more controlled, might not be so many pop-ups, but who knows?
¿Para
Who am
dónde
I?
voy? No. Puedo volver a empezar.
The ads, man, and the ads are only going to get more and more intrusive.
Olvídalo.
This is an amazing piece of art. Must have taken so much time to create this. This is where it gets really good. This is wild. I don't see this as far-fetched. Like, I definitely see this as where we're going. I think about the representation of Times Square, right? It's just that without being implanted into our brain. You know, we don't have the heads-up display literally in our eyesight, but it's represented in the outside. There's so much stimuli on the outside world, but this is just a different medium of going about it. It's just being, you know, however it's going to be conveyed to us. Maybe it's through some kind of glasses or some kind of input in our eye. It's the same thing.
Cállate.
Yeah, we're gonna have like virtual pets like that too. We don't need real dogs or cats anymore. Because you know why? The virtual dogs and the virtual cats, you don't have to clean up their shit. Or maybe that's one of the features. Maybe you'll have ones that enable you do have to clean up their shit. You just turn it off and on.
¿Qué está pasando?
Buen día, Emilio. ¿Qué puedo hacer por usted?
¿Qué está pasando? Mis puntos están bien.
No se preocupe, sus puntos están seguros conmigo. ¿Le puedo ayudar en algo más, Emilio?
Yo no soy Emilio, yo soy Juliana Restrepo.
Por favor, espere.
That person probably isn't even real in the future, you know?
¿Qué puedo hacer por ti?
Mis puntos están bien. ¿Qué está pasando?
Tranquila, todo está bien. Parece que alguien está intentando vulnerar su cuenta. Por favor, espere mientras reinicio su dispositivo. Hola, Juliana. Me alegra verte. Hoy te ves hermosa. ¿Estás estrenando zapatos?
Ya lo arreglaron. Tengo que seguir trabajando.
Estoy trabajando en eso, pero necesito verificar tu información biométrica. Por favor, sigue la línea azul hasta el centro de servicio más cercano para confirmar tu identidad.
Sí, pero mis puntos están bien.
Todo está bien. Chao.
¿Qué? ¿Qué es esto? ¿Qué? ¿Qué está pasando? No, mis puntos, mis puntos.
Mis puntos.
¿Qué hago?
A new life has begun.
¿Qué hago?
I love the biblical symbolism that's in this. Oh, that's good. That was good. That's a work of art right there, man. That must have taken so long to create. Oh man, that's awesome. But hey man, I think that's where we're going. I don't think that's too far-fetched. I mean, a lot of it might be a little bit over-exaggerated in the amount of stimuli that's going to be in our peripherals, but it doesn't seem like that's too far-fetched of an idea of where our world's going. And to anybody that thinks it is far-fetched, I mean, think about where we were 20 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, right? Did you picture this happening? Live streaming, some guy live streaming from his living room into wherever you are. And that's the thing, wherever you are, you could be at the beach, you could be on a bus, you could be taking a shit, you could be on an airplane, you could be anywhere you want. And we're connected through time and space. Like just the simple fact of this happening right now, this is the metaverse. This is the first iteration of the metaverse. This is insane. It really is. We take it for granted because anybody and everybody can do it, and there's a lot of people doing it right now. But when you really sit down and think about the idea of live streaming and us, not even just live streaming, us being able to connect with each other, transmit information to each other, transmit art, transmit our literal self ideas to each other through time and space like this, no matter where we are, locality doesn't matter. I could send a picture of me to somebody in Japan right now and they would get it at the speed of light within a few seconds. Isn't that wild? Like this is technically hypothetically, this live stream, everybody in the entire world, no matter where you are, can tune in if they really wanted to. Like hypothetically, every single human being can tune in to this live stream no matter where you are, and you have that power as well to do that. It's really insane. It's really, you can't even fathom that 15, 20 years ago, right? In the advent of iPhones and all the apps we have and where social media is, this is just the first iteration of that hyper reality that we just watched. And yeah, man, it's not going to get any less crazy. It's only going to get crazier as time goes on. It's only going to get more and more intrusive, you know? It's only going to get more and more hyper, like the video said. So, I mean, there's two aspects of it, right? There's the part of the augmented reality, which we just watched, which is like, it's an addition to our regular reality where we're going to have like pop-ups. You know, there's going to be like holographic pop-ups and things that are associated with our actual environment, or our physical world, that are going to hopefully help us around the physical world. Pretty much just picture like your smartphone now, and everything that your smartphone helps you out with: GPS, messaging, customer support, like was on the video, anything else like videos, I guess ads. We get ads wherever we go now, depending on the location. But just picture all of that, right? The incorporation of the smartphone and what we have now, and picture that just instead of being on an external device, it's going to be like literally in our eyeballs, in a way. Maybe not in our eyeballs. Maybe we'll be wearing glasses. Maybe in the future we'll literally be in us and we'll be like cyborgs. We already kind of are cyborgs. We're already at that cyborg state. We just have, rather than something that's in our body, we have it externally, almost as like another appendage, but it's pretty close, right? That other appendage is just going to be in our body in the future, most likely. I mean, it might seem scary. You might seem apprehensive to the idea of having something in your body, but I think what it's going to be is that eventually, if you don't have this add-on, the microchip, you don't have the thing that goes into your eyeball, you don't have the Neuralink, whatever you want to call it, whatever it's going to be, I can't really think what it's going to be. If you don't have that, you're going to be at a major disadvantage. Just like if you don't have a smartphone nowadays, you're pretty much at a major disadvantage. I don't remember the last time I met somebody without a smartphone. And there's a reason for that, because if you don't have a smartphone, you're stuck in the past, bro. If you don't have a phone, then you don't have the capabilities that everybody else has to live their life. Think about it, man. Even monks have smartphones nowadays. Even monks have access to the internet. So I'm talking to skeptics here, why would we be so naive to think that people won't adopt this technology for themselves to ideally better their life? And that's how it's going to be framed, is that and marketed. If you don't have the Neuralink or microchip, then you don't have access to X or Y or Z, right? And it's going to be marketed where if you want X, Y, you're going to want X, Y, or Z, whatever it is, just because it's going to make your life easier. And that's what technology does, man. That's the purpose of technology in the metaverse. So the metaverse isn't this scheme to get us sucked into the matrix and then we lose our sense of self and our consciousness disappears. I mean, it might be looked at like that. It might eventually be like that, but really how I see it is it's just aiding our way of life. It's just making life easier. And before I go on that point, I want to make sure that I'm actually streaming, because I'm doing this a different way. I scheduled an event before. So I want to make sure it's a little bit different setup than I was using before. I don't even have access to the chat right now. So I need to be able to somehow access the chat. I don't know how. Hold on 1 second, guys. Bear with me. But see? If I had the Neuralink, my life would be easier. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, there we go. We're good to go. So, free Gary. If Futurama corporate beamed ads into their dreams. Ooh, that's actually interesting. Beaming, yeah, when the metaverse gets into our dreams. If we have this thing, I mean, that makes sense, right? If we have this thing that is literally inside of our body, then it's probably going to be in our body. If you can't take it out, it's probably going to be in our body when we go to sleep. That's literally a third of our life. So that actually makes sense. Bro, something crazy just happened. What just happened? What just happened, cool kid? Hopefully you're still in the stream. What just happened? That's a cliffhanger. What just happened, dog? Did something happen live? Am I out of the loop? Oh shit. All right, so the point that I was on was that it's going to make life easier, right? That's what technology does right now. It makes life easier. So if you don't have this, whatever this is, the iteration of the technology, the metaverse, the matrix, if you don't have that, in the future, you're going to be at a disadvantage. And it's going to make your life easier, probably in terms of like work life. You're not going to have to actually physically go into an office. It's just going to be more streamlined and efficient. Like, it's going to make things quicker, right? It's going to make your life quicker, more efficient, and you're going to be able to get things done a little bit better, ideally. What's up, Gian QWC? Welcome to the stream. We're just talking about where the world's going technologically, into the matrix, you could say, into the metaverse, and how it's going to affect our life. So feel free, anybody, to chime in what they think, where we're going, if it's a good thing, if it's a bad thing, if it's a neutral thing, if it's a thing at all. I don't know. I see it as inevitable, and in 10 years from now, I see it as being unrecognizable. The world is not going to be recognizable to how we see it now. I think the idea of screens is going to be laughable. We'll be telling our grandkids and kids, if the world's still around, ideally, if climate change or a meteor or a nuclear disaster doesn't destroy the electrical grid, we'll be telling our grandkids, yeah, back in my day, we had these things called screens where we didn't have to hook up our, things to the eyeball and have this holographic display. We had these big things called a screen. And you had to look at it, and you had a choice. You could put it down and, not look at the screen. And they're going to be like, there goes Grandpa again talking about those screens. And back in my day, we actually had to drive cars. Cars didn't drive themselves. Grandpa, there he goes again about driving cars. We had steering wheels. We actually had to turn, unlike you kids. Does that future sound appealing to you? In some ways it does, in some ways it doesn't. It depends how we approach the technology, and that's how we approach it's same nowadays. It's how we approach the technology nowadays as well. It's like, are you gonna let it be the master of you in your reality, or are you going to master the technology? And that's the thing. As more and more time goes on, it's going to get more and more intrusive, but that's only if you let it. It's only intrusive if you let it into your life. Okay, you have to give up your power if you give this technology power. So that's why you got to go within yourself. Have like a meditation practice. Be mindful of how you use this stuff, because if you don't, it's going to use you. Like the video we watched before, if anybody hasn't seen it, it's almost going to take over our reality. It's going to take over our five senses. So if you don't have like a center, a baseline of where your self lies, you're just going to get sucked in to the external world even more. And you can already see that nowadays, bro. When, before the Neuralink, before the microchip happens, before it actually becomes into our body, it's still intrusive. Think about how many times you look at your phone. Right? Think about how many times you gotta scratch that itch, check your feed. Right? Where does that come from? It's already there. We're already in the metaverse, dog. We're already in the matrix. So now's the time. It's not gonna get any less intrusive. Now's the time. Find that center within yourself to be able to align yourself, to not pretty much get brainwashed, not get sucked in by this technology, because that's what's happening. It's thinking for us. It's already happening. It's thinking for us. So don't let it do that. If you don't allow it to intrude, wouldn't that put you at an economic and societal disadvantage? You got a good point. I guess it's just like, how much do you let it intrude? How much do you let it think? I guess you can say it like this, because it's like I said, nowadays, it's like, just don't let it think for you. It's like, when I mean intrude, I don't mean like, don't utilize it for your life. I mean, don't let it dictate your life in the things that you do, in the feelings that you feel, and the things that you buy and watch, and pretty much, like I said, think for you. I think you can still use it. You can still use the technology, but just don't let it take a hold of your mind. And that's what I mean by intrusive, because like it's definitely intrusive, as in like it's literally physically in our life. There's no way to go about that. But is it in our brain? Is it in our consciousness? That's the other step. And the more that it becomes physically in our lives, whether it's attached to our body, attached to our brains, then the more and more it's going to become attached to our consciousness. But that's if you let it. And that's why, man, it's oh so important to have a meditation practice, to have a yoga practice, to have some kind of way to disconnect from this crazy, crazy world that we're moving toward. You have to keep that semblance of humanity, keep that sense of self within you, because if not, we're almost going to lose ourselves. You can already see it, man. Go out in public. Everybody looking down at their phone. I'm guilty of it. That's how I know, because I'm guilty of it. And sometimes I'm sitting out at like Chipotle or something, just on my phone, scrolling Reddit, scrolling whatever it is, some website for no reason. And I'm sitting there, I'm just like, wait, what am I doing? And I look around and everybody else is doing the same thing. We're all just like, we're sucked into this other world while we're living in the world, right? It's wild, man. Next time you go out, right? If you're not on your phone, if you can remember, if you can have a sense of mindfulness, right? You're sitting at Starbucks or something, waiting for your coffee, waiting for your food or something somewhere. Sit down. Just look at how many people are on their phone. And what do you think they're looking at, right? Is it really that important? Most likely no. We're just getting sucked into the programming, dog. We're getting sucked into our social media. The stimuli, endless stimuli. That's where it's going. It's endless stimuli. And it's ironic because right now, literally, I'm part of the stimuli. I am your stimuli. Wherever you are, whoever you are, I'm part of that stimuli. And so is everybody else. So we're all these other people that have a lot more of an influence and a following than I do. We're all part of this endless stimuli that's just getting put into our consciousness. Anywhere and everywhere. We're getting sucked in. And that's the thing, too. We can get into there's so many different layers to this. You can get into the algorithm, right? The algorithm is only going to get more and more intrusive. The algorithm is only going to be able to draw off of your data even more. It's only going to know who you are even more. So from that, it's going to know your interest. And once it knows your interest, it's going to know what to show you. And then if it knows what to show you, you're most likely apt to get sucked in even more. Even more, bro. That's some good tea, man. I got some ginger, chamomile, black tea with a little bit of lion's mane mushroom, a little bit of cannabis oil in there, and that's called the potion. That's the recipe for greatness, the recipe for clarity right there. It's pretty good. I'm a big fan of tea. I don't even remember what we were talking about. Yeah, man. I mean, summing this thing all up, it's only going to get more and more intense. More and more into our life. More and more appealing. More and more stimulating. And just more and more literally, physically intertwined with our being. I don't think it's ultimately a bad thing. Like I said, only a Sith deals in absolutes. You know what I mean? So it's how we use it. It's a bad thing, quote unquote bad, if you let it use you. If you let it dictate how you think. If you let it dictate what you do, the people you hang out with, if you even hang out with people anymore, the emotions that you feel, anything else. If you're letting this thing dictate how you think, then yes, it's bad. It's definitely bad. And we can see that already. But if you can still use this technology in this world, this technological landscape, hey, thank you. Appreciate that. I put a lot of time and effort into this beard. I really don't actually put any effort. I just grow it because I'm lazy and because I don't have any hair on my head. So I'm like, you know what? We don't go bald on our face. I gotta have some kind of hair somewhere. At least I'm gonna look like a giant thumb. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I think that's the wave, bro. I think the wave of the future of men is you shave your head, you got to grow the beard. You have to. Once the top is gone, you have to grow the beard. And I feel bad for guys that start going bald and they don't have a beard, like they can't grow a beard, because then you're just gonna look like a giant thumb, bro. Unfortunately, nothing wrong with giant thumbs, but I'm not into looking like a giant thumb. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to look like that. Maybe in the future I'll be into the thumb look, but for now the beard is here, and it's just easier, man. Cause like I already once a week I already gotta shave my head. About that, so I don't want to have to also shave my face. I'm young and I got time. Young for what? Got time for what? I don't really understand. Yeah, man. This is the wave, bro. You shave the head, you keep the beard. That's the wave. A lot of other guys are gonna be on that to change your looks. Oh, for sure, yeah, for sure. Yeah, man. A lot of people are fearful of losing their hair. You know, it's we attach a lot of our self-worth, our self-esteem to our hair. It's pretty funny. Like I realized that as I was losing my hair, how much it was affecting me. And I'm thinking like, oh, are people gonna like me? Are girls gonna think I'm hot? Oh man, is this the end? And then I shaved my head. I'm like, oh shit, nobody cares. Yeah, people get made fun of. Exactly. Like it's a funny look to not everybody has hair. So once you don't have hair, it's like, what's up with this person? Do they have cancer or something? What's going on? Why is this guy so young? He doesn't have hair. But people don't care. Really, the person that cares, as long as you got a beard and you're packing, you're all set. Exactly, dude. Hey, those are words to live by. Exactly. And nobody cares, dog. Nobody cares. The person that cares the most that you're bald is yourself. All right? The future is hairless. People don't care about hair. Think about gray aliens, right? They don't have hair. They don't care. So that's how I see it. I heard a dude who didn't leave his house for 2 weeks because of his patchy hair. It was sad. Wow. Shout out that guy. 2 weeks. That is really sad, man. I think that's something that a lot of people don't talk about is hair loss in men. It's definitely an issue. I think it first of all, it's a problem for most men. I think most men have some kind of hair loss. It's definitely a spectrum. Like some guys go bald very fast at young age. Like I'm only 29. I started going bald. I'm like, all right, you gotta throw in the towel now. And some of them lose it in the back of their head. You know, it depends where and the intensity of it, but it pretty much happens to all of us. And hey, man, it's definitely slightly traumatizing. If you're not prepared, it's slightly traumatizing. You know, but hey, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Think about if everybody was bald, nobody would care. So just think everybody's bald. I don't know. That's what I do. I just don't even care. Like we attach so much, just so much to our hair when it's like almost like part of our identity, but nobody cares about. If you carry yourself with confidence, like you said, man, as long as you have a beard and you're packing, you're all set. And even if you don't have a beard and you're not packing, act like you're packing and you have a beard. It's all about how you carry yourself, dog. Especially as a man. If you're a man in this world, dog, it's all about how you carry yourself. Women think men have it easy, but many women refuse to date bald house or short guys. Is that how you act then? Yeah, bro, there's no other choice. You know, I'm also a short guy. You know, I'm relatively short than most people. And I haven't let that affect me for most of my life. You know, I'm a bald little man, but I act like I'm Adonis. You know what I'm saying? Because why not? Why not? There's no reason not to. It's the alternative is that you let that affect you, and no one's gonna give you attention, or you carry yourself like you're a fucking Greek goddess. You go out into the world like you're gonna conquer it, like Alexander the Great, and then from there, it's all about the energy. People will see that, they'll feel that. Didn't Gary used to work for Abercrombie though? Me? Maybe I did, man. Maybe I did. You know, I got the bod for it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, but yeah, man, it's all about confidence. It's all about confidence. How you carry yourself, how you act in the world, especially as a man. That's how the world's gonna perceive you. It's all about what you bring to the table. But yeah, let's get back on the metaverse, dog. Let's get back on the metaverse. I was thinking about this one the other day, right? How fragile our society is because everything is run on electricity. Literally, think about this for a second, right? All facets of our life are electricity. Think about what isn't electricity nowadays. Everything is run on electricity. I don't know. I mean, everything, right? So, imagine this, right? Excuse me. Oh, damn. It's that tea, man. That's hitting. If an EMP were to explode on the United States right now or anywhere, takes out the entire power grid, at this point, all power goes down. All electricity, nothing. All batteries, all power plants, every single instance of electricity that you can imagine, like that. This entire society would crumble. We would be in a state of confusion. Imagine this, right? The day that an EMP goes off. I'm surprised there's no movies about this. Maybe there is and I just don't know. An EMP goes off the day that it happens. Picture that. What would it be like? There would be mass confusion. No one would have any idea what's going on because you don't have any means to find out what's going on. So all you would have to do is rely on the hearsay of your neighbors. You couldn't even call your family members because all electricity is down. Your cars probably wouldn't even work. I don't know. Would cars work nowadays? Maybe the old-fashioned ones. But no, because it's batteries. Your cars wouldn't start. You wouldn't be able to go anywhere. You wouldn't be able to get in touch with anybody. You wouldn't know what's going on. You couldn't go on the internet and go on Reddit and see, oh shit, what's happening in the news? Nothing. You would be in the dark. And not only you would be in the dark, everybody would be in the dark. We would have no idea what the hell is going on. This is the day that an EMP goes off. So that's in terms of our communication, right? In terms of like, what the fuck just happened? Why are my lights not turning on? Why can't I turn on my phone? Why is my fridge off? And that's where it gets intense. So the first aspect is communication. You would have confusion, mass confusion everywhere. I would be confused. I'd be shitting my pants. And then you get into the logistics of it. Think about our food chains. The trucks wouldn't be able to drive. They wouldn't be able to bring the food. The way that all of our food is conserved in refrigeration, mass refrigeration, that would be kaput. Unless they have some kind of like diesel backup to these things, which most likely they do. But maybe those generators wouldn't even run because those are kaput as well. So all the food would go bad unless it's canned, right? Unless it's like dried. All of the food would go bad. We wouldn't be able to feed the people. So we have that. And then say this was an attack, right? This was an attack from another country, we'll say, Russia, China. How would the military coordinate itself to be able to defend from this attack if they don't have any communication equipment that's working? Because the military, the United States military, the greatest in the world, is only great because we have just a vast we have just the crazy technology, right? Stuff that we can't even imagine, and the way to coordinate it all over the globe. But what if that coordination effort goes because there's no electricity? We would have no military. There would be no one to give orders, to take orders. There'd be no means to get that technology, the drones, to defend. There would be no way to really, it would just go kaput. There would be no military. Because the military is just an idea. It's like a hierarchical system of people giving orders to people lower than them. But that system collapses when what holds the system together, which is indirectly electricity, disappears. Right? Isn't that insane? There's no, all of the ideas of our systems, the hierarchical systems that we have, are all on the backdrop of electricity. they literally run everything. I mean, it literally runs everything. All the systems, all the organizations that need to communicate with one another disappears. So what do we have if we don't have electricity? Nothing, man. Our society collapses because there is no society. Who says there is a society? The internet? The government? What government? What government? They can't. There's no government if there's no electricity. There's nothing. If we don't have electricity, it's a free-for-all. We're going back to the warlords, the Stone Ages, dog. That's assuming that it doesn't come back up. You know, if we don't get the system back up and running. But, hold on a second. But even then, right? Let's say we go without electricity for a week, a month. It takes a whole month. That's a long time to not have electricity. If we don't fall into anarchy, if we don't fall into a free-for-all, if we don't fall into the warlords, going back to the Stone Ages, and then 1 month later, oh, hey guys, we got the grid back up and running. Sorry about that. Had some technical difficulties. The show's back on. The United States is back on. Listen to your local police officer. Obey. And here's a president. Oh, he's going to give an address on TV. Sorry about that, everybody. What power do they have anymore? There's not going to be any structure. After a month, our society will change. There'll be other nations. There'll be smaller. There'll be like smaller conglomerates of human beings that get together because they have to. Like there's gonna be tribes, and then the United States will say, "Hey, we're back." No, it wouldn't work. So it's like once the grid goes down, that's it. Everything changes because the grid is predicated upon this constant idea, this constant. It's like a collective hallucination, a collective idea of how we see our world and our society and how this is how it runs. But it's all a fallacy. Once the grid goes down, once the electricity goes down, all of that is out the window. We don't have this system. We don't have governors. We don't have politicians. We don't have police officers. What power do they hold if they can't communicate with one another? Because it's a giant system. If you can picture this system, this whole entire thing that plays into each other, right? Like it's just a system of power that goes down and is delegated and is what's that word? I forget the word. Where I can't think of the word right now, but the power is separated in between peoples that go down the line, right? Down the ladder. That ladder disappears if there's no electricity. Everything. There's no society. There's no world, quote unquote. The world is the world of your surroundings at that point. There's no Facebook. There's no people telling you gotta go get the vaccine. I probably shouldn't have said that word. I feel like the stream's gonna get banned. There's no one telling you what to do, how to be, how to live. When the electricity's gone, when the grid's down, dog, it's dog eat dog. We're out there in the wild. It's like a reset. There's no rules. The idea of what you thought the United States was, the world was, that's out the window, dog. It's survival at that point. This whole world, yeah, send me the video. Where can I send it? Just send it to, okay, let me put it. You can send it to my email. GaryLHaskins@gmail.com. Boom. That should work. I disagree, bro. There were societies before electricity. Things were just more local. That's actually what I'm saying. I don't know if I conveyed myself right. So the giant society that we have now, it's going to crumble. And it's going to form into local tribes, the smaller societies. And then if the bigger society of the Western world says, okay, we're back, it wouldn't work because those local societies already have more power and more say in the post-mortem electricity world. Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at. Hopefully I conveyed that in a better way. There's definitely always going to be some kind of society and tribal aspect to humanity. That's just how humans work. We have to work with one another. You know what I mean? Like, that's just how our brain functions. Literally, we're in like a giant tribe right now. It might be like a kind of weird theoretical tribe in our head. It's like a hive mind in a way. But it's tribe. It's a giant tribe. And yeah. And we're always going to be at that. We'll always have that tribal aspect. Okay, I'm looking at my email. Let's see. It better not be nudes, dog. It better not be you, like... If it's... Dog... Hold on. Should I trust this video? Should I trust this video? If this is you... If this is your balls, if this is you masturbating, dog... I'm going to be pissed. I really hope it's not. You know, downloading files from strangers on the internet. Taking a risk here, dog. taking a big risk. Alright, let's see. I'm gonna share this live. If this is your balls, dog, I'm never downloading a video from a stranger. Alright, here we go.
Hey man, what do you want to do for dinner tonight?
Alright, hold on. I'll play this. I'll play this live. Hold on, let me just share my screen.
Hey man, what do you want to do for dinner tonight? Hey Jesse, come on here and see what Brian's doing.
Yeah, that's pretty much where it's gonna be, man. Oh man, bro, people are gonna have relationships. People are gonna be like, they're gonna be banging holograms. You know what I mean? It's like the movie Her, man. We're gonna fall in love with these avatars that we have online. It's gonna be wild, dog. I mean, think about it. You get like the fleshlight involved and you get the metaverse involved. People aren't gonna leave their house. Guys aren't gonna want to go out and actually meet human beings, dog. And also, too, going on that idea of the goggles, I think it's not gonna work. Appreciate that video, by the way. Appreciate that. I don't think it's gonna work until there's something that's less bulky. You know, people aren't gonna want to wear those. I actually had a Oculus. I didn't like it. It was too big. I got a headache from it. It just felt weird. So I got rid of it because I'm like, I'm not gonna use this, dude. It's too much. So I think when we get into this quote unquote metaverse, it's going to be when the technology that we use to interface with this quote unquote metaverse is a lot more comfortable. Honestly, it has to be more comfortable. A lot smaller. That's it. Because once it's like I don't even realize it's on my body, that's when it's gonna get trippy, man. That's when it's gonna actually become useful and less, just less. I don't know. I was gonna say intrusive, but it's still gonna be intrusive. Just more comfortable. That's all it needs. We just need more comfort, more accessibility for it. Because those big goggles, man. First of all, it just looks goofy. Second of all, I can't see the outside world. You know, I'm blind to this world, and I'm in another world. I think the metaverse is going to be an incorporation of this world and the metaverse, like this other world. So if we can blend the two and you can go between the two in a very fluid way, that's when I think it'll be incorporated. You know what I mean? So I don't have to take off these goggles and have them on my head, and then once I want to go in and play the games or watch some metaverse porn, I don't have to put on the goggles. Literally, it's just going to be like a seamless switch, or maybe not even a switch, just like something pops up. Like, I don't know, man, because you have the aspect of augmented reality where it's built upon this reality, it's built upon this world, and then you have the other world. Like, it's going to be like a separate. We have an instance where it's almost like a separate, but I don't see it as being separate. It has to be one. It has to be this like combination of the two for it to work, and I think that's where it's gonna be. But first, we have to get the technology in order to go there. We don't have the hardware. I think we have the theoretical mindset of where it could be, and it makes sense. It actually makes sense when you sit down and think about it. But the hardware isn't there, bro. You got to do a little bit better, Mark Zuckerberg. I'm sorry. The goggles like that aren't going to work. Maybe the first iteration of that, well, the first iteration is right now. Literally with screens and what we're doing right now. But I think where we go from here, maybe it's be glasses. You know, they already have that with Ray-Bans. So maybe it'll be some form of glasses. I can see that. A lot more comfortable. A lot more accessible for the user. And then maybe in the future it'll be like eye implants. That's some Black Mirror shit. But maybe it'll be like you put it on almost like a contact. I can see that happening. But then the technology really has to evolve to be at that small of a medium, and then be able to do what we're talking about. It has to very, very much evolve. You might not even be able to with silicone. Is it silicone or silicon? I get those mixed up. Silicone is the fake boobs, right? And silicon is the material that we use computers with, I think. Why are they so close? Why are silicone boobs and silicon is computers? I feel like they should have came up with another name for silicon. It's way too close. But yeah, man, we're just at limitations of hardware right now. But the fact that we can even theoretically think about it means we're getting into some trippy shit, dog. We're going into the Matrix. And hey, man, I think the things that we can theorize at this point are just kind of they're just ideas of where we're going, and I think it's only going to be crazier than our ideas. I think it's actually going to be a lot more what's the word I'm looking for? Inventive than our ideas can be. You know, the internet in its current form now, we didn't picture it like this back in the 90s. I don't think we did. Maybe some people did, but most people didn't even believe in it. You know, most people thought it was just craziness. This internet, everybody's going to have a computer. I remember seeing I wish I could find it now, but I remember seeing a news broadcast of them in the 90s or the early 2000s talking about this internet thing, and they were like, they were mocking it. They were like, this internet thing, we're going to bring somebody on to talk about the internet, huh? These computers, huh? What about that, huh? I mean, people laughed at it like they laugh at the idea of the metaverse now, but nobody pictured it like this. So I think where we're going with technology, I don't think we can really imagine it. We can kind of get some ideas, some broad ideas based upon how technology is now, but I think the game is going to change, and we don't know where the game's going to go. And it's going to be a lot more innovative in 10 years' time than 10 years ago was from today. You know what I mean? So 2012, from today, we saw a lot of technology. And then from 2012 to 2002, we saw a lot of technology develop. And I think that's only going to become more and more exponential as time goes on. So from 2032, if the world doesn't end, if the grid doesn't go down, if there's no cataclysm, from 2022 to 2032, strap on your seatbelts, dog. Strap on your seatbelts, because we're approaching singularity, essentially, and we're approaching some foreign territory in terms of our technology, dog. And it's not dying down anytime soon. It's not going to get any less and less in your life unless you decide to go off the grid, quote unquote, go live in the mountains with Babaji. Then maybe it'll get less intrusive. Maybe. And that's the thing too. You ever see like these people that say they're off grid living, and they have like 1 million YouTube subscribers? You know, they're filming everything they do. Are you really off grid, dog? You know, if you got a Starbucks down the road, 5 minutes, 10 minutes down the road that you can upload all your videos to, are you really off the grid? Are you really off the grid? I don't think so. I think you're just trying to get views by saying you're off the grid. It's pretty smart. I'm not hating. But are these people really off grid? No. If you're off grid, dog, you don't got a YouTube channel. We don't know who you are. You're out there doing your own thing. You're Ralph Waldo Emerson it. You know what I'm saying? I think he was off grid. You're out there Nobody knows who you are, what you're doing. You're just living. You ain't got a YouTube video. You ain't got any of that shit, dog. You ain't off grid. Let's get real. Let's be real about that shit. Oh, man. All right, I'm going to read some of the comments. Can we do this together? Haptic fleshlight. Dude, it's going to happen. The haptic fleshlight, the haptic penis, it's going to happen, dog. They already have full body suits of that are haptic feedback. They already have, like, literally from your neck down, you get the feedback of whatever's going on in the world. I don't think the software is there for that hardware, but the hardware is there. So if some people can develop the software in terms of pornography or video games, then 100% we're going to have haptic feedback fleshlights. We're going to have haptic feedback penises. It's a given. It's a given. I think there's a saying, right? Like, all innovation from the technology that we have, it starts with porn. It starts with sexuality. I believe it. I don't know who came up with that, but I heard somebody say that one time. It all starts with how humans adapt to pornography or their sexuality. So obviously we're going to have these haptic feedback things, man. And it's going to be for video games. It's going to be for virtual sex. Picture that, right? Picture this one, right? So not even virtual sex with this is trippy. Not even just virtual sex with, you know, some kind of avatar that doesn't actually exist, but what about like with other people, right? So I got a haptic feedback suit. My other girl or guy, I don't know how it would work with girls. Well, and guys too, I guess. I don't know. Thinking about it a little too much. But picture that, right? It's with another person. So two people have haptic feedback suits, and they're having this like virtual sex anywhere, right? The environment could be anywhere. You could be on top of Mount Everest, right? You got the goggles on. You both got the suits on, but you know what? You're on Mount Everest, just making sweet love to each other with the suits. Virtual rape. I mean, I guess so, but you could just take off the suit. Yeah. If you can't take off the suit, then you can get virtually raped, I guess. That's pretty funny. But I mean, that's gonna be a thing, dog. That's gonna be a thing. They actually have a Black Mirror episode about that, where it's two guys. Actually, it's two dudes. They go into this video game. It's a virtual video game, right? They fall in love with each other. But the thing is, in the game, one person is a girl, one person is a guy, and they're totally different characters. Like, they're both, I think in real life, quote unquote, they're like two black dudes, and they go into the game, and they're both like, you know, Japanese or something like that, and obviously played by different people from the game to the real life. But it's interesting because it starts to coincide. I think if I remember correctly, like, they start to fall in love with each other, or they start to question their love in real life, and it starts to ruin their personal lives because they both have wives and girlfriends. Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate that. You know, I put a lot of time and effort into these legs. Strong legs. I'm glad somebody noticing the legs. Oh man, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, Black Mirror. Trippy episode. Like, they fall in love in the video game, and in real life they start to question if they're actually in love. Picture that, right? Because everybody, when in the metaverse, they're gonna have their own avatars. They're gonna change the way they look. So what if they fall in love with their haptic feedback suits? You know, with their avatars and the appearance of their avatars. You fall in love with the like giant polar bear avatar, and then a giant dragon and a giant polar bear having sex with each other. They fall in love. Then in real life, they're wondering, is this real? Do I really love this polar bear for what it is? Dude, it's gonna get trippy, because the thing is, we're already there. Just the technology isn't quite there, but theoretically we're there. Once the graphics get better, once the hardware gets better, once the software catches up and the hardware catches up, dude, it's gonna morph. Our world is going to morph literally into the metaverse. And if you don't see it, then you're just not paying attention enough to technology and where it's going and how exponentially we're getting there. But yeah, it's gonna be driven by probably sex. It's probably gonna be driven by haptic feedback penis suits. It's gonna be a thing, dog. It's gonna be a thing. We already know it's gonna be a thing. Maybe it'll be better. Maybe the sex in Metaverse will be better than the sex in real life. Maybe that shit will be really, really good. And people aren't even gonna want to have real sex anymore. They're just gonna be like, dude, you serious? You actually want me to have real sex with you? Put my penis in your vagina? Dog, I'm having sex at the speed of light. We're doing this shit. We're doing this shit on Mount Everest, dog. I ain't going in your bedroom. I'm putting on the suit. Put on the suit. What you waiting for? People don't even have sex anymore. I mean, hey, be a lot less babies, a lot less risk for STDs. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, man. I'm just watching it. Man. At this point, I'm just watching it, just like a movie. You kind of have to. You can't get too involved. I'm so interested in this time that we're alive. It's such a peculiar time to be alive. It seems like it, at least. Maybe I'm biased because I am alive in this time. But comparing it to the previous eras of humanity, it seems very peculiar. You know? It seems like I'll infect my haptic penis with a virus which spreads real STDs. Yeah, that's more than cheeky prank. That's pretty messed up. That's pretty messed up, dog. Oh, like a virus, like malware, like a virus like that. It's a VSTD. It's a virtual STD. Yo, that would be a thing, right? Damn it, you gave me some you gave me some virtual herpes, man. What the heck? Now my haptic suit doesn't work. It's kind of itchy. It's giving me an itchy sensation down there. You serious? Give me haptic crabs. It's gonna be a thing. Don't give me haptic crabs. It's gonna be a thing. But yeah, like I was saying, man, I'm glad that I'm born during this time. A lot of people see it as dark, but it's interesting, to say the least. It's very interesting. You know, compare this time of interconnectivity with each other in the internet and Reddit, Facebook, Twitter, whatever it is, everything that we have, the interconnectivity with the world. Compare this time to, we'll say, 1300s in Scotland. You're just a peasant working on the farm. There's no electricity. Your meals are pretty lame. It's probably just a lot of potatoes, boiled meat if you're lucky. You don't have spices. There's no technology. There's no games. It's nothing. You probably don't even know how to read. You're just farming all day. All day. You come home, go to sleep. Probably gonna die at the age of 30 from typhus or something. And that's it. That's your life. We've probably all lived that in past lives. To come to this one. This one seems very, very peculiar. There's something special about this life. Unworldly, like another realm, compared to lives of millions, if not billions of human beings in the past. Billions of human beings in the past had to go through, it's like the darkness. They call it the Dark Ages, right? A sense of being a serf, being a slave. Millions and billions of us. We didn't have access to the technology and knowledge that we have now. We didn't have any of that. We worked, we died. It was probably a miserable existence, but we didn't know any better. But compare that. Those were the same human beings as us. They had the same drives. They had people they loved. They had, they had fun. They had things they wanted to do. Desires, wants, aspirations. They were human beings just like us. Just didn't live in the same world, per se. It was actually the same world, but is it really? They didn't have electricity. Where we all started this thing, man. They didn't have electricity. If you don't have electricity, you're living in a different world. Electricity has brought us into this other world. And it's just getting started, dog. It's just getting started. We're just getting started here. And I can't wait, because it's going to be a good show. Like I said, just watching this whole thing evolve, where it's going, it's interesting to say the least, man. Don't take it for granted either. You know, this life is something special. It really is. There's a lot of darkness and nihilism and negativity that gets thrown our way from people that just don't know any better. I mean, we're all struggling. We're all still suffering, right? I'm gonna admit that. But can you see the light in the darkness through all the struggle, all the suffering, all the pain that humanity is going through? Can you see it? Can you feel it? Because I can. I can see through it and see the specialness. I don't know, is that a word, specialness? I don't know. The specialness of this life. So don't take it for granted, man. It's a really wild time to be alive. It's a magical time. Our technology is magic. If you were to bring this technology back to that 1300s in Scotland, to that person, the peasant, show them what video is, show them video games, show them the haptic feedback penis suits, show that to them, they'd be like, what? Get this sorcery out of here. What is this? What is this demonic technology that you have brought me? It's magic, man. All of this is magic. So we're living in a magical time. It just depends how you look at it. It could be white magic or black magic. It's all perspective, man. It's all perspective. Don't take it for granted. This life that we have in this time period, it's a short one. Take it in while it's here and use it to the best of your ability to evolve, grow, be happy. Find peace, man. Find peace. Yeah, man. I don't know what else to say. This was a cool stream. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Definitely going to do more live streams in the future. This is fun. I like coming on here, just chatting with people. I like having the, the back-to-back, the back and forth conversations with the world. This is fun. Like I said, this is magical. We're in a magical time. We take it for granted, but just sit down, breathe, take it in the world that you were born into. You could have been born a peasant back in Russia in the 1100s. What the hell happened in Russia in the 1100s? I can't think of anything. Maybe you can. I don't think anything happened back then in the 1100s. It was just famine. It was just famine and trying to survive, I think. I don't know. Maybe there was some cool shit happening. I'm not too big on Russian history in the 1100s. But what I'm trying to say, this time is cool, man. Don't take it for granted. Take this in because it's not forever. It's all temporary, dog. It's all temporary. Take this in. Take in the magic. Try to find a sense of peace and happiness through all the noise, all the craziness, all the drama. It's all just noise. It's all just drama that most likely doesn't pertain to your life, your personal life. So don't get sucked into this technology. Don't get sucked into the Matrix and the Metaverse. Know that it's going to be a thing, and we're all most likely going to have it involved in our lives in the future. Most likely, 99% of us are going to have the advent of our technology becoming more and more physically intrusive to our bodies and our life. But that doesn't mean you have to let it become intrusive to your consciousness and how you behave and how you think and feel about the world that we live in, dog. So, yeah, that's all I got to say. It's ever more so important to go within, find yourself. I don't think anybody knows of anything significant happening in Russia in the 11th century, man. I don't think anybody. Like, what happened? I'm going to look it up. Let's see. I was about to cut this video off, but we're gonna stay on this thing. We're going to look up 12th century Russia. Let's see what happened, man. Maybe some cool stuff happened. It's literally a Wikipedia page, I think. No, it's not, actually. There's nothing. They don't even have anything. Hold on, let me show you. This is the category, 12th century in Russia. Okay, so there's not much. Okay, they got establishments, the churches, Kievan Rus, the Battle of the Novgorodians with this. Oh, the Battle of the Novgorodians with the Suzdalians. See, you could have been in the Battle of the Novgorodians with the Suzdalians, but you weren't. You're here. Oh, this is in the 15th and 16th century. This wasn't even in the 1100s. Dude, they don't even have anything. This was a whole 100-year period where people lived their lives. People had families and loves. You know, things they thought were important, dog. Nothing was important. It's all dead and gone now. Lost to history. And you know what? It's not even in history, dog. You weren't even written down. There was nothing that happened in the 1100s. Russia. Nothing, dude. You didn't even get one page in the history book. Hold on. I'm using Brave. Let's search Google. 12th century Russia. All right, so they got from the 9th and the 15th centuries, the 12th century Rushmania. Okay. The city of Vladimir. We got something here. It was the first mention in the Russian Chronicles. City was founded. Okay. The Russian Chronicles. Whatever that is. Well, it started in 1108. So this might have been the start of Russian history, which is kind of ironic. Okay, we got some history going on, but I don't know anything about it. I know nothing about that. So where I was going with this video, dog? Yo, don't let technology use you. You got to use it for the best of your ability to find peace and happiness in this life. All right. Don't let technology become your master. You become the master to the technology, and thus let it elevate yourself to a higher sense of being, a higher sense of self-worth, and a higher sense of peace, happiness. That's what we're all supposed to do. We all have the ability. We all have the means to do so. You just can't let this shit think for you. That's pretty much all I gotta say. Until next time, yeah, don't get sucked into the Matrix, dog. Don't get sucked in. Don't get sucked in. It's easy to get sucked in, but it's also easy to suck yourself out. You just gotta put the phone down. Shut the screen off. Go outside for a little bit. Don't even bring your phone. Just go walk around without technology. Go meditate. Close your eyes. Breathe. Do some yoga. We have the means to do so. You just gotta consciously discern to do it, and to do it with discipline. And then, yeah, you'll find a sense of free thinking, a sense of happiness in your life. That's what I think, and that's all I gotta say. Peace out, everybody. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Wish everyone the best. Much love to all my brothers and sisters around the world.